Put on a suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Take it.
Now you're more fluent.
Dracula, he's got three!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with the big fella, former Bucks legend, Paul Mokeski, coming to you on a Monday evening. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Big Mo, how's it going, brother?
Just trying to stay cool here in Vegas. It was 120 degrees yesterday.
Oh, man, that's
a record.
That's a layup, man.
That's a record.
That's a layup for you, Mo.
That's why you stay inside.
Well, once again, the sports world, the eyes on the sports world are on Las Vegas. And we got the NBA there. We got USA basketball there. You got a chance to go out and hang out with your buddy Steve Kerr and watch the USA team practice with your kids the other day. That had to be a treat for the kids and for you to be able to share that experience with them.
Yeah, it was fun because, Steve Kerr has seen my kids off and on, but, the first time he saw them was when we played together in Cleveland. They were just little kids, and, now they're 6'8" and 7 foot tall. So, we got to talk to him a little bit before practice and then watch practice. And, it's a privilege because not many people are allowed into the practice to watch it, and had a great time. Last year we went and we saw the JV team, that played in the World Cup. And this year we saw the varsity, with LeBron, and getting to see LeBron and Curry and all these guys, KD up front, up close and personal. It's kind of cool.
And I, I don't know how hard those guys were going at it, but some of their warm-up stuff, do they address a lot of fundamentals, or were they just trying to get loose out there?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first day of practice, so, they did the warm-up, whatever, really, and then they pretty much went through concepts, a lot of defensive concepts, how they're going to play the pick and roll, how they're going to rotate, how they're going to cover double staggered picks, and then their motion offense, where they want people located, draw and kick stuff, but most of it's, second nature to everybody. If you know how to play basketball, you can make small adjustments. Okay, we're going to trap the pick and roll. We're going to open up, let them through. We're going to switch it in front, but they need to get their communication down, what they're going to call their switch, what they're going to call their hard show, stuff like that. Then they got some shooting up. And then they a controlled scrimmage for a while, and that was kind of fun to watch because, you get to watch, LeBron play, with Embiid, and you got to see Steph Curry play with Drew Holiday and Booker. Seeing those combinations of guys together is pretty cool.
Yeah. And Mo, they are going to have their stuff together because this is no longer a walk in the park for USA basketball when they go to the Olympics. France is loaded. Serbia has the Joker. Canada's roster is right there with the USA roster. And I know you coached in Canada. You've seen the growth of basketball over there. Let's talk a little bit about what USA is facing.
Well, I think the top teams are USA for sure. I mean, they have their A team now, not the B team they had last year. But you're looking at Canada. They have 10 NBA players on that roster. Serbia has 5, including the Joker. Australia has 8 NBA players currently, and Della Denova that played for Cleveland when they won it all. France has 6 NBA players. Germany is the team that won the gold last year in the World Cup. You're looking at Greece with Giannis and it's not a walk in the park anymore. But I think the talent that they have, watching them practice, I was impressed how hard they went. And LeBron, I'm telling you, he looks 22 years old. He's catching lobs and dunking it. He's bounced around through drills, and they're doing their defensive shell drill, and they're going hard and communicating and talking. They know what's on the line. They want to win. I think today they had a chance to scrimmage a younger team that had some other players on it, to give them a little taste. But it's pretty much getting on the same page. But it's not a walk in the park anymore. I think with the pool play starts, and they actually have a good draw in the pool. So they're in pool C, which is USA, Serbia, South Sudan, and Puerto Rico. So Serbia is ranked fifth in the world. Um, South Sudan is 33, and Puerto Rico is 19. So they should. What you have to do in the Olympics and any type of these kind of tournaments is you start off in pool play. So you have 4 teams, everybody plays each other. And then the top 2 teams from each pool, A, B, C, there's 3 of them, will move on to the medal rounds along with the best 2 third-place teams of the pool. And, so USA, Serbia will probably come out of pool number C. Pool A is, I think, the toughest pool. Australia, Canada, Spain, and Greece. And Group B is Germany, France, Japan, and Brazil. So out of those 12 teams, 8 will emerge. I'm pretty sure it'll be USA, Serbia, Germany, probably France, Canada, Australia, and then either Spain or Greece. And then you go into the single and elimination medal round. But not a draw. So they should finish second no matter what. Even if they lose to Serbia, which I don't think they will, they'll still finish second. And then it comes to aggregate score. So, that's how they, how many points you beat a team by or lose to a team is very important in these tournaments.
Hey, Mo, what is it you really like about this roster, and what would be a concern if you're on that coaching staff?
Well, I like their experience. You're talking about there's no really let up from the starters to the backups. I mean, you got the best American players playing. I mean, when you go through the USA roster, you got Steph Curry, Booker, Anthony Edwards, Holiday, Halliburton, LeBron James, KD, Kawhi, Tatum, Embiid, AD, and Bam Adebayo. Not too bad. It's a pretty good roster. And the big thing that really helps them is now with Joel Embiid playing for them. I saw him yesterday when we went 2 days ago. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm 7 foot, 315 pounds now. He's almost as big as I am. He's longer, obviously more athletic, but he's a good 280, 290, so he can bang with the jokers and the physical play. And he, in my opinion, he makes a difference in the USA team. They got defenders, they got shooters, they got drivers, they got rebounders, but they needed a big body in the center. And last year, when you're playing with Anthony Davis as the center, in the NBA you might get away with it until you come up to the Joker or Embiid's. But in overseas, all those teams have 6'11", 7 foot, 280-pound guys that just bang with you. And really, AD is not a guy that can shore that up, or Bam Adebayo. But now you put Joel Embiid next to Anthony Davis, now you got something. So, I really like their size now. I wish they would have a little better shooting. Watching them shoot the other day, I mean, Steph Curry, he shoots like butter. Everything he shoots looks like it's going in. I mean, it's ridiculous. But, if you're talking about Booker and Edwards and Halliburton and Holiday, those guys are good shooters, but they're not great knockdown shooters. And in the Olympics and FIBA basketball, the three-point line is closer, and you got all these teams got guys that can knock down, threes from everywhere. And that scares me a little bit, the consistency of the USA shooting from the 3-point line. But driving, defense, rebounding, size now, it's not a problem. But, there's a lot of teams, like I said, Serbia, France, teams like that, they go 6, 7, 8 deep, easy, like NBA level players, when that used to not be the case. It used to be all the foreign teams had 2, maybe 3 NBA players on them. Now they have 6, 7, 8, 10. So, it's going to be interesting.
Well, Mo, one thing, if USA gets in trouble, they could just go to their number one option, Anthony Edwards.
I think he was, and here's the telling part: he was last year in the Worlds, but he's not anymore. I think that was tongue in cheek. I mean, no, I'll tell you what, I'm in that gym and I'm looking at those guys playing. Anthony Edwards is, in my opinion, the 6th, 7th option probably when you're looking out there. I mean, Kawhi looked good. He looked in shape. Tatum wasn't there yet. I think he's here now. KD didn't practice. He went back in the locker room and then came out at the end. But, the guy's look in great shape. Holiday, my Milwaukee Bucks just messed up not keeping him because he's the ultimate glue guy. He does everything.
He really is.
All down, defends. One of the scrimmages was on the line. He just did a little crossover, went to the paint, and finished with his left hand. Thank you very much. So it was fun watching them play.
Hey, we want to welcome our viewers in, and we already got some questions and comments for you, Mo. Let's start with our friend Mike Jew. What's up, Mike? I don't know why, but I'm really not excited about the Olympics this year. Seems like less hype than usual. I think this basketball is something to get excited about, Mike. What about you, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, the women's team, the USA women's team has won like 6 golds in a row. It's just crazy. There's been some gaps in the United States men's team for a while, but, they're bringing their, and I think it's a lot, people talk about LeBron, but I think a lot had to do with him committing and not pressuring, but very much encouraging these guys to come, including Steph Curry, who, by the way, has never played in the Olympics, which is mind-boggling. He's never played before.
This is his first.
Yeah. So, in the past, you're looking at, guys that, have played and are great players, but this roster probably matches up with any I've seen. But also, Mike, I think the competition's going to be good. There's going to, like South Sudan, they're going to beat them by 50 or 60. But, when they play Serbia and even Puerto Rico, you're probably looking at a 20, 25-point win. Serbia, you're looking at a game that can be close, and you can lose that game, actually, but it'll be a 10-point game probably. And then when you get into the mental rounds, when you're playing these other teams, it's going to be some really good basketball. And I would put United States basketball fans on alert that this year, I think gold is in the future. I think it's there as long as nothing crazy happens. But 4 years from now, it's going to be a tough battle to even get a medal 4 years from now, in my opinion.
Wow, the game we used to dominate, but it's a worldwide game now. Jamal checks in. Bron needs to go to the bench unless he controls the USA too. Let's talk a little. Let's talk a little bit about LeBron. Mo, he's gotten, a lot of criticism about his son getting drafted and all of that. But my thing with that,
I would ask any other father out there. I'm a father. You're a father. Any other father out there listening right now? You can't tell me that you wouldn't do the same thing. I would. I know you would, Ricky.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, is it fair? Guess what, people? Basketball's not fair. Giannis's brother shouldn't have been playing for the Bucks either, but he was. It's just the way it was. That's the way it is. So, Bronny struggled in the summer league game yesterday, and I just hope he realizes that he needs to go to the G League now that he's got his $2 million contract, and go to the G League and get better and play against good competition. And he's in for the long haul. But I mean, I'm
But
telling you what, man, LeBron. When I saw him 2 days ago, he looks like he could play till he's 50. If he wanted to, and I told my kids that if he wanted to, not this year, next year, or even the year after that, but after that, if he wanted to be a Bill Walton type that did it with the Celtics and joined a great team and played 20 minutes a game, he could play till he's 46, 47. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
is that the greatest? I mean, he's been a great player, but his longevity, is that the greatest thing about him?
Well, I mean, like, Kareem played for 21 years and some other, but I'm telling you, man, in the gym with all these players I just listed, he had the most energy, the most bounce, the most fun than any of them.
That's really amazing. Sandy City Sports, welcome. Bronny is a sport important for extending LeBron's career, not for his own career. I think what Sandy City is saying, LeBron has worked to stay in shape to stick around for Bronny to have this chance to play with it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that a little bit. I mean, that's probably because it's been done in baseball before, right? The Griffeys and a couple other father-son, but never in basketball because it's been thought to be impossible, and he's done it. So it might have really pushed him to the limits, LeBron, that is, to be able to play with his son, which is something special. But I mean, let's face it, LeBron's been doing this for 20 years, right? He came into the league as a high school player, and he's been playing at a high level. He's in unbelievable shape, and Bronny might have had something to do with it, so he could play with him. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, shoot, he just signed a 2-year extension at 104 million, whatever. I wouldn't be scared if I was a GM to extend him 2 more years past that, easy. Watching him the other day.
That's saying something coming from you, Mo. Jamal checks back in. You can't sit out Leonard. You said Kawhi looked good the other day.
Yeah, Kawhi looked in shape. Kawhi does Kawhi things. One thing that he does that he brings to the team that, some maybe, which is a concern, he plays when he wants to lock in, he can play lockdown defense. And that's what you need against some of these international teams is guys that can really step out. Both he and Halliburton have a key of being able to guard people because Curry doesn't really guard people. Booker's not great at guarding people. Holiday, Kawhi, and Halliburton, they can really knock down. I loved watching Bam Adebayo at the 4 and Embiid at the 5. So they got options. Steve has options now to put a really good defensive team out there when he needs to.
Would he be able to play Embiid and Davis together?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no question. I mean, AD loves to play 4. He's capable of playing 4. And you know what? A lot of these FIBA teams, I mean, Serbia's in their pool, and they have the Joker, they have Bogdanovic, they have 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are 6'11", 7 foot. Plays for Charlotte, plays for Atlanta, plays for Miami. They got big bodies, so you can use AD at the 4. You could play LeBron at the 4. You could play Bam at the 4. You could probably move Bam over to the 3 if you needed to, if you needed size. But I mean, let's see. Okay, we got to take KD out, so we're going to put AD in. KD for AD or AD for KD. I mean, and we haven't even talked about that because he wasn't here yet. What? One of the best players in the whole league is Tatum. He wasn't even there. You still got him too. So how about Curry, Kawhi, and Tatum? How about that? And then pick 2 other guys. I don't care. Pick you and me, Ricky. I don't care. I mean, think of think of the combinations with that roster they have, and we haven't even talked about Anthony Edwards, right? I mean,
Right.
this is,
Right.
I'm an old school dude, and the original Dream Team I think is the best ever. Legends everywhere. Dream Team 2, whatever that was with Shaq and them. This team's right up there with all of them, I think.
Wow. I mean, I know Mike is not very excited. I'm excited about the Olympics overall, even the track and field and all of that. And hopefully we'll do better in 3-on-3 basketball, Mo. Because the last time I don't even think we qualified for 3-on-3.
I don't even know who. I don't think we're in the Olympics. We haven't qualified, right?
I think we qualified this time.
Oh.
I will check. I will check that out during the course of the show.
But that's a mistake because you got the wrong people playing. I watched the Big Three this weekend, right?
Right.
And, they got older players, but I would put one of those teams up against, you got Jay Rich, and you got some good players there that play in 3-on-3 now. I don't know who they're sending for our 3-on-3 team, but it might not be the right people.
Hey, Mo, did you play much 3-on-3 growing up?
Absolutely, all the time, for sure. It's one of the best ways to play basketball. You can't hide on offense. You can't hide on defense. You either have the ball or you're moving. You got to guard somebody. It's the best way to learn basketball by far. I mean, we play pickup whenever we get 5-on-5 in the gym or in the park. But, a lot of times, Ricky, you're out there at 10 o'clock at night at the park. You don't got no 10 guys. You got 6 guys.
That's right.
So you play 3-on-3. Or you got 3 guys and you play knockout. So we did all that growing up. But 3-on-3 is a really good basketball where you can't hide. You got to be able to handle the ball, shoot the ball, drive the ball, pass the ball, and you got to defend all those when you're playing 3-on-3.
Our great friend Steve Schroeder checks in. What's up, Steve? Michael Jordan famously asked Bobby Knight if he expected them to guard anyone. Well, Michael was famous for his defense, wasn't he, Mo? He was a good defender, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. And I'll tell you one thing I remember. I remember the Chicago Bulls general manager. I can't remember his name. That broke him up.
Rosen. Gosh, I was just reading about him today.
No, he's the owner. The general manager was a big, chunky guy. Anyway, I remember him. Tony Kukoc was the best guy, and he was bringing them.
Jerry Krause,
and he was bringing them in. So, Michael and Scottie Pippen just wore him out that year in the Olympics. And he scored like 2 points.
I
and they wouldn't even let him catch the ball. So they're going to play defense. I mean,
Jamal, who has the Kobe role?
Pick one. I mean, okay, let me give you. So, Edwards, Kawhi, Tatum, pick one. I mean, that whole roster is, crazy.
I think LeBron would be more of a facilitator with this.
Yes.
With this team.
Absolutely. I mean, why not? And he loves to do it too.
He loves doing that. Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be interesting because they play Canada Wednesday in a couple of days here, and Canada has a really good team. I mean, it's going over their roster. So Canada has Shea Alexander, one of the best point guards in the NBA. They got Murray, who's one of the best 2 guards in the NBA, and they have Alexander Walker, who plays for Minnesota. R.J. Barrett, who plays for Toronto, Dylan Brooks, talk about defense, who plays for Houston. They got Dort, who plays for OKC. He's a great defender. They got Dwight Powell, who plays for Dallas, Trey Lyles, who plays for Sacramento, Kelly Olynyk, who plays for Indiana now. I mean,
7-footer.
Yep, that's who they play on Wednesday. So, those guys aren't scared.
Mo, I think this is a result of your coaching stint in Canada. All these NBA players coming out of there. But you actually saw Murray when he was a kid over there, right?
Yeah, he was playing in Orangeville Prep. It was Murray and Thon Maker and Dylan Brooks.
Don Baker, 6'11" kid,
Yeah,
former Buck, former Piston. Yeah.
he and his brother are playing for South Sudan this year.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
all the three of those guys played on the prep school team that I was coaching the pro team that we practiced in the same gym. But Canada basketball is, I think it used to be Spain had the most NBA players besides the United States. Now Canada by far has the most NBA players not playing for the United States. So,
And Bo, I know you talked about this before, but I think it's important that you explain it once again why the international game has grown so. The coaching and instruction the kids get there compared to what we're doing with our kids here.
well, I think, I've talked about it before, overseas for the most part, those young players, they practice 80% of the time and 20% of the time they're playing games. Here in the United States, especially in the AAU season, it's reversed. They practice 20% of the time and 80% of the time they're playing in games. And, over there, in order to coach youth basketball over there, you have to have a FIBA basketball coaching license. Here in the United States, you have to be certified by USA Basketball to coach AAU, but you get certified by taking some tests. So the coaching's a little bit different at the lower level too.
But what's wrong with playing a lot of basketball?
Well, I think you need to, especially when you're younger, you need to learn skills more than play. You need to learn your skills: ball handling, passing, dribbling, shooting, obviously, and defensively, moving your feet, being able to guard pick and rolls. You need to learn your fundamentals first, and then you can play and incorporate them. And then you need to learn team basketball, spacing, ball movement, player movement, all this stuff, and that they apply that at a young age in overseas. And here in America, we usually don't do that. I mean, a lot of young players have player development guys. Some are good, some are bad, trying to work on their skills. I think working on the wrong skills a lot. Let's only just shoot threes, or, let's dribble like 20 times and, do an offhand layup, stuff like that, which is okay, but you need fundamentals. The best players in the world have the best fundamentals. Larry Brown, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe, the Joker, LeBron. They all have great, great, great fundamentals. I used to tell players, you need to get your fundamentals down and then expand your game. It doesn't come the other way around. It's like trying to learn calculus when you don't know how to add and subtract. It doesn't work that way. So add, subtract, divide, calculus, statistics. And that's the same with basketball. Learn how to pass the right way, shoot the right way. Then you put in the dribbling. Then you put in, hesitation dribbles and all that step backs. But it comes just like the same progression as anything else.
Okay, everybody. Mo's just said he's just showing off with that Kansas University education.
Yeah, because I was a business major until I hit statistics, and then I became a journalism major.
Hey, we got some questions about free agency. We're going to wrap up this part of it. Although if you got more, any question you got, we're willing to take. Chris Hopfall, was it you? Yeah. Well, go ahead, Mo.
Well, yeah, I just talked about that, Chris, that I was there with my kids, and it was a great, great atmosphere. And yeah, Tatum wasn't there, and KD, I don't know if he's injured or just chilling, probably just chilling. And he warmed up a little bit, then went in the locker room and came out for the last 15 minutes of the scrimmage. He didn't play anymore, but I'm not sure if he played yesterday or not. He's older and a little beat up, but when you're at this point in your age, you want to be healthy, you want to be rested, and then in this situation, what Steve Kerr, Ty Lue, a few from Gonzaga, Spoelstra from Miami, that's the coaching staff. They're just putting in their lingo for how to guard pick and rolls, trap or switch or whatever. They're putting in their lingo. KD knows all that stuff. So we'll see if he even plays on Wednesday, because after Wednesday, then I think they go to Dubai and play 2 games, and then they go somewhere else to play a couple games. So he's going to take it slow.
Wasn't Ant-Man part of the last team that lost? I think he was on that team. That was the JV team last year, Mo.
Yes, that was the Worlds. That every other country takes that more serious than the Olympics, except we don't. We think the Olympics is more important. So we sent our JV team, and Ant was the best player on that team. But and I don't know if they got a bronze or a silver, or I don't even know. I can't even remember if they medaled or not. But yeah, that was our JV team. So, this roster. I went to practice last year, and I was like, we're gonna struggle. And I was practice this year, and I'm like, unless something crazy happens, we should win the gold.
He also had who would be your closer for this team?
Anybody.
Take your pick. Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by closer? Tell me what you mean by closer. I mean, if you want a 3-point shot, it's
Steph.
It's Steph. If you want to drive to the basket, or it's Tatum or LeBron, or or Kawhi, or if you want to pull up, it's Kawhi. I mean, shoot, take your pick.
There's little to no certification for AAU coaches. Yeah, there are good coaches out there, but you're right, Sand City. Some of these guys are pretenders, and
yeah. So it depends on the AAU situation. Some, the best tournaments, AAU tournaments, you have to have a certificate from USA Basketball, but it's pretty easy to get, though. I mean, you just apply, and you can't have felonies on your record and stuff like that. They do a background check, but there's also the lower level AAUs that somebody's dad or someone tennis shoe guy or whatever coaches. And quite frankly, I'll tell you, like I've told you before, when you watch AAU, I can't watch AAU basketball here. A lot of talented players, all they do is full court press and go back into a zone, and then they trap, and then they run and try to dunk and shoot threes, which is great, but you're not learning how to play basketball. You're not learning how to execute a play or a set or an action, or learn how to guard pick and roll because you're in the zone. So that's a big difference of what's going on in basketball in general.
Chris Ramsey, Pistol Pete had fundamentals, absolutely, although he was a showman for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw something, Pistol Pete, I played against him my rookie year, and he was at the end. He was playing for the Celtics, but I watched his video all the time. I had his poster in my bedroom because of the things he did with the basketball. I mean, he averaged 40 points a game in college, and that was no 3-point line. And I saw something from Dr. J that was on something. Dr. J said Pistol Pete was the most talented, one of the most athletic, and the deepest shooter he ever played against, ever. That's saying something.
Wow, from the good doctor. Some free agency stuff, Mo. What do you think about the 76ers now?
Well, I think they just let's see. They just with Paul George, it's a great addition, but I think they just added 2 players today too, right?
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the Sixers. Hey Mo, Paul George said the LA disrespected him, which is why the old disrespect.
Yeah, whatever. So Philly just signed Eric Gordon and Caleb Martin. So they shored up. So you're looking at Maxey, Embiid, Paul George, Buddy Hield, who's I think is still a free agent, Paul Reed, Oubre Jr. They signed Drummond, and they just signed Eric Gordon and Caleb Martin. So they're trying to make a run at the Celtics in the East, which I think their roster now, Steve, shows that they can do that if they stay healthy. And the Embiid I saw a couple of days ago, He looked good.
Yeah, he's a prop. They got Oubre is there too.
Yeah,
He's
Oubre.
there.
Yep.
So they got a solid roster for sure. Uh, let's see, going here. We talked about Bronny being picked at 52. Uh, Chris, you got to get here on time, man. That's not like you, Chris.
We already talked about that, man.
We talked about, but Mo, the fact he's picked at 22nd, 52nd,
55, wasn't it?
55, yeah, 55.
Yeah.
All those picks are, we don't know what's going to happen with those guys.
It's anything after 20 is a crapshoot. So, you know, you pick Bronny because, you know, he's only 6'1", he has a 40-inch vertical, he's 6'7" arm span, high basketball IQ, had a heart problem a year ago, came back from that, played on a crappy USC team, yes, averaged 4 points a game, yes. But, you know, it's a chance that they're picking. Of course, they picked him because of LeBron, but it's not like it's not like, you know, he can't play. It's not like he can't play. It's not like in a couple of years he might turn into a decent NBA player. Who knows? And in the second round, they're all crapshoots. Most second round picks don't make it anyway. So why not take a chance?
Yeah, I'm totally with you there, Mo. Why not take a chance? Somebody said the East will be stacked next year. The East is stacked, but it's still the West to me, man.
Yeah, but I mean, Boston, if Porzingis is healthy, and that's a question mark because he got hurt, and he has going to have surgery, and he might not be ready for the beginning of the year. Philly got better. My Milwaukee Bucks stayed the same. Maybe they'll make a move here, but if you look at their roster of Lillard, Middleton, Portis, Lopez, Giannis, Cogniton, and Beasley, pretty good team. And the Knicks got healthy and better. You know, they bring Brunson. They signed Onabi. If Julius Randle can be healthy, Mitchell Robinson, their big guy, is going to be healthy. Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, and they picked up Mikal Bridges. You know, they did lose Harkenstein, who I think that hurts them. But the Knicks are right up there in the top 4 of the East. You know, but the West is still, you know, I mean, loaded.
I think Chris asked about Hartenstein going to OKC. I like that pick for them, Mo, because he brings physicality to that roster.
Yeah, and he lets Chet Holmgren move over to the 5-4, and Hartenstein can play the 5 and be physical. And then they also picked up Alex Caruso. OKC picked up Alex Caruso, who's a veteran wing player. And now they have, you know, with Shea Alexander and Dort and Holmgren and Hartenstein, and now they got Alex Caruso and some other young players there. They've made a step up and got some veteran leadership that can play and be able to compete with the Dallases and the Denvers and the Minnesotas of the West. And the Phoenixes, I mean, they're still there too.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got here? Hey, and thank you guys. We appreciate your questions and comments for sure, because you're talking to the right guy to give you the information and give it to you straight, and that's my man, Big Mo. Hey, Mo, have there been any moves in free agency that you really like and that you question? Since we were on last week, DeMar DeRozan is now a San Antonio Spur.
To me, I mean, if I'm him, I don't know why I go to San Antonio, because they're so far from being, you know, having a chance in the West. I mean, you know, I thought the Lakers are going to make a play for him, but evidently they would have had to give up too much. But that would have been better fit. But, you know, with San Antonio Wembanyama, who wants to win now, you know, that helps them. But, you know, getting over the hump to be able to beat Minnesota, OKC, Dallas, you know, any of those teams, Denver, I don't know where that is a good move by the Spurs, but and you know what, the Spurs did pick up Chris Paul too, right?
Right.
So now they got two veterans to help Wembyamba, and maybe if they can get on a roll. But here's like the question, right? So maybe if they get on a roll and start playing well, maybe they can get into play-in. Is that your? I
Yeah.
mean, that's really
And,
what you're
and,
looking at, right?
and Mo, and to do that, they would have to go from 22-60. What got into playing last year was 46 wins.
Yeah. So I
That
mean,
that's 24 more wins. Houston was 500 and didn't make the playoff.
yeah. I mean, the Lakers. I mean, so in the NBA you make these moves, but they got to deal with Chris Paul. It's not a lot of money. I don't know what they're playing DeRozan, and so maybe it's time to show. Maybe they're trying to show Wembyamba that hey, we're serious and we're going to make a run at the playoffs this year, and then we'll go from there. Maybe that's the play. But I mean, you know, the West is
Yeah,
crazy.
you're 41-41, and you're 11 in the West. And then and you look at Memphis, 27-55 last year. Could How far can they make a jump, getting John Morant for a whole season?
Yeah, I mean, they were number one in the West for most of the year 2 years ago, right?
That's right. That's right.
They were like the number one seed. And then John Morant did his silly stuff and they had some injuries. So, they're not that far off of making a run and doing something in the playoffs. John Morant, when his head's on straight and he's doing the right thing, he's one of the best players in the league. No, there's no question. He does everything. He can shoot, he can drive, he's spectacular athletic. So they can make a step up too. But to unseed Dallas, who picked up. Oh, by the way, they picked up Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters in the league.
Right.
They shored up their big spots last year, and they went to the NBA Finals. Now they pick up Klay Thompson without losing anybody. So you got Dallas and Minnesota and Denver, who's going to probably retool, and OKC, who got some veteran players. There's the top four right there, and you're not even talking about Phoenix, who has Booker, KD, and
Bradley
uh,
Beal.
yeah. I mean, you're not even talking about them yet. And the Clippers, who, if they're healthy, who knows? So we'll see.
And Bo, you look over last year, the 11th spot in the East was 32-50. The 10th spot was Atlanta at 36-46. The 9th spot was Chicago at 39-43. So that shows you where the power was last year.
Yeah, and at the same time, what happens is, when you have equality, you beat up on each other, and you lose games, and I'm surprised that the West wasn't more like that. But when you're in the West, you beat up on Portland and Utah and Houston and San Antonio,
Yeah, yeah. What the San Antonio's never gonna let Wemby out of there.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, I mean, that's the only reason Popovich signed a 5-year extension. He was ready to retire. Is that Coach Wembyamba, hopefully for a long time. They're going to make moves to get better. And when the time comes, they're going to offer him everything they can, which will be, 20, 25 million more than any other team. So, unless Wembyamba is not happy, unless they're not getting better and showing they're getting better, and he wants to leave, he's going to be there. And I think in the next 2 or 3 years, they'll be contenders in the West if they make the right moves. Which, guess what, San Antonio tends to do, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. Orlando, Mo, how do they figure into this thing in the East? good young team. They had a good season last year. Couldn't get out of the first round. Some good young players. They just gave Wagner an extension.
Who's playing for Germany, by the way? He and his brother.
Right. They are still a tier below Boston, Milwaukee, and
In New York and Philly. Everybody is. You know?
even Cleveland.
What's that?
Even Cleveland.
I think Cleveland, Orlando. Wait. I would put Indiana up, almost up with Philly in them. So you're looking at Boston, you're looking at Philly, you're looking at Milwaukee, you're looking at New York, then you're looking at Indiana. Who else did you say?
Cleveland.
Yeah, then Cleveland, and that's 6, and then you're looking at the Orlandos and the other teams, that are trying to get in.
Uh, uh, Indiana just traded for. No, they signed James Wiseman from the Pistons.
Strike 3, right?
Yeah.
Strike 3. Golden State drafted him like number 1 or 2 or whatever. Then they traded him to Detroit, and he was there for 2 years. So guess what? This is his last strike. Someone's going to see if they can turn him into a player, and if not, then he's going to be overseas playing. Maybe.
Steve, Hawks need to trade Trae Young. I think they want to. They can't get nothing for him, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, it's trading in the NBA. It's not like trading player cards. I mean, if you want something, you got to give up something. And unless other teams don't want your stuff, no one's going to make a trade. So, unless you're going to, trade for something lower than you think he's valued at. But it's a catch-22,
Yeah. And the worst thing that happened to them was getting to the conference finals when they weren't nearly that good. They got hot and got to the finals.
Well,
and the expectations just grew on them.
Trae Young is a high-volume shooter, so you got to have a place that he fits on your team, that you don't mind him taking a lot of shots. And, he's opposite of Klay Thompson, who, is a quality shooter. I mean, he doesn't dribble the ball a lot, and he knocks down shots. He can score 30 in a quarter by taking 5 dribbles, but he's not the guy that's going to, be 6 for 25. It's not, Trae Young could go 6 for 25, won't bother him.
Yeah. Giannis. Steve wants to see Giannis hit 80% of his free throws. If he was a better free throw shooter, the Bucks would have 2 rings.
Maybe not. But yeah, he needs to work on his free throws. And I just saw something on some footage of him practicing with the Greece team that he beat Luka to qualify for the Olympics. The Greece team beat Luka's team. And I saw footage of him shooting free throws. Like I told him to shoot free throws, not take so long, keep it simple, couple dribbles, couple counts, and just shoot it. And he was doing that and making them. So we'll see if that follows through in the games. And if it does, he can get up to at least 70% probably, I bet. If he stop taking so long and dribbling so much and taking forever to shoot free throws.
Chris coming back to Steve. Yes, Bill Cartwright. Big Bill was a good free throw shooter, though.
He shot like this.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
He shot 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had a funky shot. Yeah, you guys are out there. If you know anything about basketball, you look at Bill Cartwright's shot where he kind of slung it over one side. Go look at Jamal Wilkes, who played for the Lakers and UCLA. He had that same slingshot, but it went in.
So Mo, what is it? Is it the follow through that counts, that creates the consistency?
No, it's the release point. I mean, if I want to release, I want my hand right here on the ball. I want my side guideline, and I want to follow right through. See my elbows right through to the basket. Now, I don't care. I could do all this stuff. And if I get here at the end, then it's okay. But mostly if you're doing this stuff and now you're shooting from this side or you're shooting from this side or you're pushing it or your hand is all your left hand is too much on the ball, that's where you get in trouble. But there's a lot of different ways to shoot. But at the end, you want to get to where you have, you know, your ball hand, your guide hand, and then a nice release where your elbows aren't flying. There's not too much give and take. But at the end, you get to this point and then release it.
Is it a? I know you can improve your free throw shooting. How many reps does that take? How much of it is mental? How much is reps?
Well, free throw is a lot mental, and it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of routine. You got to find a routine you're comfortable with, find a stance you're comfortable with, and then repeat it over and over again at a high level. And then you have confidence. So all you think about is your routine, just like golf. Golf, all the golfers have routines. They have routines for on the tee box. They have routines for their irons. They have routines for their wedges, and they have routines for their putting. They all have routines, and there's a reason for that. Only way to be consistent and execute something that has to do with a ball and motion is routines and repetitive and simple. And that's the same with free throw shooting. And a lot of it is mental. You know, you start, I mean, you know, Ricky, hopefully you didn't get it, but golfers get the yips, right? They're missing 1 foot because they're, why? They're not bad putters. It's in their head. It's in their head. You know?
We just saw Roy McIlroy do it.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about like, you know, hey, Ricky, you know, there's water in the left over there. Don't hit it in the water.
Don't.
Instead, so you're going, damn, don't hit it left. Don't hit it left. Instead of, hey, Ricky, there's the fairway straight ahead. And now you're thinking, straight ahead, fairway, straight ahead, fairway. It's mental. A lot of it's mental and repetition.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trey did have that little flick of the wrist. He was so strong, he didn't have to bend his knees. He could just flick it up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're strong like that, like end of my career, or even when I was coaching at Dallas, I could shoot threes flat-footed and just go from here with the wrist and swish them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but we're heading down the home stretch. I think we got all the questions and comments covered from everybody here. Let's talk about the summer league coming out there. Who are you anxious to see?
I'm not going. So
you're not going any. I know you're gonna go hang out with the guys, though, right?
Yeah, we're not going summer league. We're going to the USA Canada game.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you watch right now. If you watch ESPN right now, they have the summer league that's in Utah right now. They're playing, and then Bronny was playing in Sacramento, I think, and then they all come here next week. All play next week, but there's no one like. I would go see the first couple picks in the draft. The French guys play maybe, if someone gave me a ticket. But you know, I went last year because I wanted to see Wembanyama. I saw him twice, and the one time I saw him, 16,000 people were there watching him. But there's not that player this year that I'm not interested in seeing play. You know.
Yeah.
I would say also need to talk about the Lakers picking 17. I think 17. They got the player from Tennessee, I think.
Dalton Connect.
That's a great pick. Really good pick.
Yeah. Yeah. He did not play well the other night, but these games, that's a good thing you can help us with. What do we take out of watching these young guys in these games?
Nothing really. I mean, what you can see their motor, their high level of competitiveness. You can see their body language. You can see their basketball IQ. Are they taking bad shots, good shots, dribbling too much, passing? All that stuff is what you're looking at because the game's pretty much a pickup game. They're a little more organized. They're running some offenses and stuff. But what you're really looking at, like what I saw Wembyamba last year here in the summer league, was he was competitive. He wanted to win every play. He was trying hard, blocking shots, doing stuff. So that's when you look at these summer league games and you look at some of the players you're looking at, you can see, that's what you're looking at. Is he playing hard all the time? Is he playing as hard on defense as he is on offense? Is he making stupid mistakes? My bad. My bad. Is he doing that a lot? You know, that's where you see what these guys can do and where they can fit in at the next level in the NBA.
Yeah.
And you saw Wembyamba, play in front of 16,000 people, and he wasn't shook, you
Yeah.
know? So, that's what you see and that's what you notice. And, when you go to these summer league games, there's NBA everywhere, but there's also teams from all over the world looking for players to play for their teams. I mean, there's leagues all over the world, high level leagues, in Spain and Italy and France and Russia.
Paying good money.
You go to China, the best players are making $1 to $3 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're playing the cups and everything.
Steve said it's 117 in Arizona. That's nothing, Mo.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not. What did y'all have? 120.
120 yesterday. Yeah. But hey, it's a dry heat. Okay.
Yeah. Could Brian Winters help Bronny learn to shoot?
I haven't really watched Bronny shoot. I don't know what his, what I saw and what I heard is in Chicago, that's why he was draftable also, was his athleticism, his length, and I think he finished 1 or 2 in all his shooting drills. So I think he's a decent shooter, but, that's hard to say,
Yeah.
Yeah, I play with some great shooters. Come on. Brian Winters, Junior Bridgman, Calvin Murphy, Rudy Tomjanovich. not too bad.
My Pistons signed Malik Beasley from the Bucks.
That should make a big move. Yeah, they're doing really good. Hopefully they'll be in the right direction and get something, have some kind of game plan to follow and get a little bit better every year. I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is, this team, when you lose 9 or 10 or 12 games in the season, that's hard. It's hard on the players. It's hard on the coaches. It's definitely hard on the fans.
Absolutely. It was a miserable year here, Paul. You played here. You know the Piston fans. And that team has had a lot of success. They do not like seeing this, man.
Nobody does. But as long as you can see some improvement and some purpose of the way, the direction we're going, okay, I can see this happening. It's not going to happen overnight. But you got to make little steps and little strides. And as long as fans see that happening, and coaches and organizations, when you're where Pistons are and some other teams in the league, that's what you got to do. You can't be okay. We're gonna, okay, the season starts. It's all 0-0. We're gonna win a championship. Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds good at the meeting, but not in reality.
What I like about what Bickerstaff said when he came in, we have got to get better on the defensive end. So we're going to start there, playing better defense.
Yeah, because, you don't need any skill to play good defense, by the way. You need effort, you need energy, you need schemes, and you need commitment, and you need accountability. If you have that, in the NBA, I'm guarantee you every team, even the Pistons, have NBA level athletes.
Yeah.
But you got to get them to commit and get schemes. And JB's Bickerstaff's a really good coach. And if you start on with that and energy and effort, a lot of things will fall in line. You'll be surprised how other stuff falls in line. And then what I would do on the offensive end is we're going to focus on not taking bad shots. We're going to have ball movement, player movement, and we're going to take 80% good shots, 20% bad shots. That's what our goal is. And you'd be surprised. If we play defense and we eliminate most of our bad shots and focus on good shots and share the ball, you'd be surprised what can happen quickly.
Yep. Well, brother, we got to get out of here, Mo. Any final thoughts?
Nope, I'm excited to see Team USA Wednesday against Canada, and then the following Olympics. It's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be great basketball. Everybody tune in, man.
Well, for the big fella, Paul Mokeski, I'm Ricky Hampton. Thank you guys so much for all your questions and comments. We'll be back next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, take care, everybody. Peace.